Hey everybody, what is going on today? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be showing you guys the best way to build your lineups out in MLB The Show 21. All right, so you guys do me a favor, as always, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man, subscribe. And we got the new giveaway announcement. Congrats to the winner, 23 Brain Nerd, yesterday on winning the Ronald Acuna Jr. helmet. But today we got the announcement, the Cody Bellinger autograph mini helmet will be given away on October 10th during Subscriber Sundays right here on the channel at 11 a.m. on the live stream. All right, so you guys just have to make sure you're subscribed. That is the only rule. Let's go ahead and get right to the video here. But first, make sure to check out the sponsor on today's video, ahmlb.com, where you guys can get cheap stubs to finish those collections off and get those awesome cards for your squad. Use code BIG at checkout for 5% off. All right, you guys, so here we go. And don't forget, guys, we got memberships available. I want to say a quick thank you to all the new members over the weekend. We're up to 46 members on the channel, man. That's pretty cool. We're only 4 members away from getting a new emote for you guys. We also unlocked a new one over the weekend. So awesome, and thanks to you guys for all the support. So best lineups in MLB The Show 21. Here we go. All right, so what I like to do, and I think it's very important. It doesn't matter, by the way, what cards I'm using in this, that's specific to the actual players that we're using. If you have a God Squad, that's great. If you don't, and you're just got the game, you're new to the game, that's also okay too. This is going to be universal for any mode you're playing in, any type of lineup build that you have to do, all right? And I think this is a good tip for all of that. So what the best thing you want to do is, there's this particular rule that got added in baseball a couple of years ago. It's called the 3-batter rule, the 3-batter minimum. So pitchers are required to throw to 3 batters specifically before they are removed from a game. A reliever, however, can come in with an out already in an inning and only throw to 2 batters. And if it's the end of the inning, they can switch pitchers the next inning. Sorry. So what you want to do, though, because of that, is you want to stagger your lineup. And staggering your lineup is going to help you kind of defeat the situation, you know, in situational hitting with the pitchers as they come in. So what you can do is, here's what I like. At the beginning of a lineup, I always like to run a typical kind of old school style leadoff hitter. You don't have to do that specifically if you don't want to. That's okay. I have Lou Brock at the top of the lineup. A guy like that, just with a little bit of speed that can get on the bases, maybe wreak a little bit of havoc there on second and third with some stolen bases or something, is a great guy to have. But then if I bat a lefty there, I'm going to go with a righty in the next spot. Now, your second spot typically is going to be one of, if not the best hitter on your team, all right? You want your best player batting in that 2 or 3 slot. All right, and we're not talking about your best power hitter. That's going to be your cleanup spot, obviously. That's where we want those guys in that 4 or 5 slot. But you want that best hitter, the most consistent guy that you can really count on to drive in that leadoff hitting RBI if he gets on base for you. So that's where I like to do that. Now, if we do a lefty-righty, then we're going to go back to a lefty again over here for the 3 spot, all right? So you're going to bring a lefty back in. And the reason is, let's say it's late in the game and these 3 spots come up in the lineup. And they go to a lefty out of the bullpen, all right, because they're going to face 2 lefties. So they're probably going to go to a left-handed pitcher. So when they do that, if you have a couple of guys on your bench, and this is what I like to do, keep a couple of guys to platoon with. Chances are you might not be great with, maybe, let's say George Brett doesn't hit lefties great for you, all right? His attributes aren't as great against lefties. They're still wonderful, but maybe you're not as good with him. Or let's say the guy brings in a righty. And you're like, all right, Matt Kemp hasn't been doing well against righties. Maybe you keep a lefty on the bench that can play center field. All right, you've got somebody else that can come out there and go out there. Now, on this particular squad, I don't have one. I think he can play center field, maybe. Yeah, he can play. Conforto, this new card, can play center. I don't know if you want to put him out there because of the defense. You might want to make a change there and move like Acuna out there to center if you do it. But outfielders are pretty universal most of the time, so that's a great thing for you to be able to do. Having these guys that can platoon off of your bench are great because you're not going to use most of your bench throughout the entirety of a game. So keeping versatility on your bench is very important because, you know, you can change up the situation throughout a game because of it, all right? If you keep a little bit of speed, a little bit of platoon style hitter on there, you know, you're not going to probably need all of those hitters for pinch hitters for your pitcher at some point. You're not going to use most of your cards on your bench throughout every game. So being able to get more use out of them and finding a way to use all of these great cards that we have access to is an awesome way to be able to play. Now, if you look at all of these handedness over here, the left and right handedness and the switch hitters, I have it all staggered throughout this entire lineup. Now, one of the great things about this year's game is you have the ability to build out an entire, for the first year ever, in my opinion, a God Squad, damn near full of all switch hitters that are mostly free cards in the game. And it's pretty crazy, man. So if you wanted to do that and move switch hitters throughout the whole thing, you wouldn't have to worry about platooning anybody. I've heard from a couple of you guys that actually have done this with the all switch hitting squad before. And there really is enough cards this year to be able to finally do something like that and actually, be competitive with a squad. A lot of times we get kind of hindered on them, but I did it at one point throughout the year, and it was pretty cool. It was helpful, but then I found I just wasn't using all these great cards that we can use on our bench. So, like I said, if you guys start with a righty here, just kind of go lefty righty, or righty lefty, just depending on who is at the top of your order. Keep a couple of guys on the bench at least for those platoon spots. For my God squad, and this is my main squad that I roll with right now, I keep guys on the bench that platoon. Salvador Perez goes with Kyle Schwarber. If there's a lefty that comes in that is a starting pitcher, or if they bring one in late in the game for a matchup against Schwarber, I'll go ahead and go to Salvador Perez because he's 125 against lefties, so it's great. All right, so I've got Vlad Jr. here also for George Brett because he doesn't face lefties as well for me. All right, Mookie Betts is one that Larry Walker is out here for. So I'll bring Larry Walker in if it happens to be a righty. Even though Mookie hits righties great, I don't hit righties great with him. Just because the attribute says it doesn't mean you always hit great with them. Now, I have 3 switch hitters on the squad right now. The only guys right now I'm not platooning is Lou Brock. Lou Brock's the only one, and these switch hitters, Joe Morgan sometimes gets platooned here with Jackie Robinson. So I kind of keep guys on the squad and on the lineup or on the bench for things like that, things of that nature. I also keep speed on the bench. That's a good way to have access to pinch runners for some of those slower runners that get on base later in games for you. That's a good way to maximize your lineup and maximize how your squad is built out. These situations is what you want to try to go ahead and play ahead of your opponent before you ever even get into a game. You want to be thinking ahead of them and try to always be one up before you even get to that situation. So if you're prepared, always be prepared. Always be prepared. All right. If you're prepared before you ever enter the game, you're already one up and you've got a better chance to win. So that's what I like to do. I hope it helps you guys out. I hope you guys understand and like the idea of how to build out the lineup the way I showed you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. I'm always here to help you guys out with any kind of questions. Now, lineup specific questions, I get asked this a lot. Hey, I've got this player and this player, or these two are available. Who should I pick? Those are hard for me to decide and help you guys out with because I don't know how you do with each particular player. I also don't know what type of player or what position you are in need of on your squad. But what I always tell people is always be looking to replace the weakest link in your lineup. All right? At any time, replace the weakest link. Even if it's a card you love, if you're trying to be competitive and trying to win, then you might want to get rid of that weakest link. There's always one player that's not as good as all the others on your squad. After you get some at bats in, always look at that card and who you can replace him with next. I think that's the best way. And sometimes it involves shuffling your lineup around when you do that because let's say all of a sudden I'm not hitting well with Ronald Acuna Jr. Well, man, whoever I get, maybe it's a lefty I have to put in here. Well, now I got to shuffle the lineup up around a little bit. But luckily, you can move him right here. Let's say we brought in Larry Walker is who we ended up using instead. Look at that. We just shuffled it. We put the switch hitter here instead. And then you can still keep that staggered lineup so you can be able to defeat pitchers in situations throughout games. So if you guys got questions, so like I said, ask them. I hope the video helps you guys out. Tomorrow we'll have the video showing you exactly how you can get through the Player of the Month program within about an hour. All right, you can be able to finish it really quick. So you guys will be prepared. But do me a favor, as always, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks. Peace.